I saw that too. Did the things that I do.
All right, we're good. I'm good. I'm ready. I think it's time. It's time.
Danny? Yep. All right. I would like to thank everybody for coming. Full house tonight. These are always the fun ones. We're going to celebrate a lot of awesome people and accomplishments to begin with. To start this meeting, we'll start off with the flag salute. And Amber, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I heard you in the front row.
Yeah, rocking it.
Okay, do we have any changes or addition to the agenda?
We do not, thank you.
Okay, that takes us to the consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Old business?
We have before us for the second time, the Ridgefield School District Action Plan around lead in drinking water. I'm happy to report we are making quite a bit of progress on getting all of those fixtures replaced. Just waiting on the last few, and then after they're installed, we will pursue having follow-up testing completed. It is a requirement for the board to approve the action plan for the Department of Health.
I move we approve item 5A as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Gotcha. So in new business, we have approval of a resolution number 2024-2025-004 in support of Proposition 12, replacement educational programs and operations levy, and Proposition 13, capital projects and technical levy. I'm going to read that resolution. So in support of Proposition 12, the EP&O levy, and the Proposition 13, capital projects and technology levy, whereas Ridgefield School District is dedicated to providing high quality education, and state funding does not fully support essential programs, staff, special education, extracurricular activities, and other operations. And whereas the Ridgefield School District is dedicated to ensuring safe, modern facilities for all students, and growing enrollment and aging infrastructure require investments to maintain functional and secure schools. And whereas Proposition 12 provides continuing funding for existing programs, including staff, special education, and extracurricular activities, and Proposition 13 funds the construction of elementary number 3, repairs at Union Ridge and South Ridge Elementaries, and technology needs. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Directors of Ridgefield School District 1 endorses and supports Proposition 12, replacement education programs and operation levy, and Proposition 13, capital projects and technology levy on the February 11th, 2025 special election ballot. Number 2, recognizes the importance of community investment in sustaining and ensuring educational programs and facilities that support the success of all students, and encourages all eligible voters to participate in the special election. And number 3, directs the superintendent and school district staff to provide accurate, factual information about these propositions in compliance with applicable laws. So I move, can I get a motion?
Yes,
Yes.
I move that we approve resolution number 2024-2025-004 in support of Proposition 12 and Proposition 13 as written.
I second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let it be shown that that was a unanimous vote of the school board. So now,
It's kind of exciting. I think that's the first time this board has taken the opportunity to do that. We have a second resolution that we're not going to read into the record this evening because we're just doing a first reading. We wanted to provide ample time for the board to review the study and survey that was conducted by LSW. And it is in the board packet, so you have access to it, but also everyone in the audience and at home has access to the study and survey that was completed. This is a part of the DFORM process, which is what it takes to get funds from the state through OSPI's School Construction Assistance Program, which, as you know, is part of our plan around building elementary number 3. The board is required to accept the study and survey as complete in order to move forward in that process with OSPI's SCAP program. Included in the report is an overview of every one of our facilities. There is a condition assessment for each site. There are maps that show you what the site layout is, all of the buildings that are currently owned by the district. And so I think you'll find it really helpful. I think it's also really helpful for the community to know where we are at in terms of our facilities. And this will really be a guiding document for our new frame team, our facilities resource advisory for maintenance and expansion team that we will be launching shortly after the election in February, regardless of the results of that election. So it is available, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have this evening.
all right, no questions.
I think you just answered my question, Dr. Rodriguez, but just skimming through it, there are some items that look like they need attention in terms of our plan for addressing those. That will be the frame team that helps to move us forward in those areas.
Yeah,
For maintenance and
yes,
upkeep.
absolutely. This
Okay.
is going to give you a high level view of each of our facilities and the status of those in terms of the condition, everything from roofs to carpet to everything in between. So it will be a really good guiding document for a place for us to start to identify what are the concerns of the staff and community, and then how do we consider going forward and prioritizing those concerns based on the funds that we can access to make some corrections.
Thank you.
One other question, Dr. Rodriguez, can you refresh us on the makeup and selection of that committee, what that'll look like?
For the frame team? Yeah, the frame team is going to be open. So it's going to be open to whoever would like to join. We'll see who shows up. So we will be sure to publicize when we're going to have some launching meetings for that group. The intent is for this to be a longer term team. So a little bit like a bond advisory, but different in that we want some long-term commitment and long-term support from the community as we think about a long-term capital facilities plan. So that would include really any future buildings that might need to occur down the road. It would also include any major renovation projects that the team wants to put forward to the board. So it really will be an advisory and recommending body, but that is the group that will bring back to the board a long-term facilities plan. In addition, we are doing some overhaul of our maintenance department at this time and really streamlining and looking for efficiencies and looking for just ways to ensure that we're being as responsible as we can with our dollars and with our facilities.
I also have a question regarding the report. When I was looking through, there's a lot of percentages, and what is the threshold for a percentage that like demands attention? Like I know there's a lot of 62 and then 30s, like obviously 30% is going to need more attention, but is there kind of a threshold for what we need to look at?
I can take a look into that, but I think part of that will be the responsibility of the committee to determine at what point do we feel like this is a concern and warrants addressing it more quickly. We have a number of issues, as you'll see in the report. And to be frank, we won't be able to tackle everything that we're going to want to tackle as quickly as we will want to tackle it. So it is going to be a way to help us prioritize potentially by looking at the percentages, the age of the structure, and then it really will come down to financial implications and where do we want to start, and then what's the long-term plan to ensure that we never again as a district find ourselves with a 70-year-old roof.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Mhm.
Now we move on to the superintendent's report.
Okay. I am gonna go a little out of order for this. So, but we are gonna start with our high school student leadership update. So Michaela, is Michaela here? Oh, okay. We are excited to hear about what is happening at Ridgefield High.
Hello, good evening, President Jones, Superintendent Dr. Rodriguez, and the board. I'm Michaela Nix, and although I had a brief leave of absence, not me, Jack Radosevich, our president of ASB, came in and he presented, and I'm enthusiastic to present our little recap and kind of plug some future events that we have going on at RHS. So first we have our Unified and Multicultural Night. Our first game that I don't have up there, our first game is at La Center High School this Saturday. Our Unified athletes have been working super hard during their spud times, doing their layups and helping with our paras as well. We have a game that we are hosting at RHS on February 1st. It is a free event, so we encourage everybody in the community to come, as well as our students. We are our multicultural night, February 28th at 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. is also hosted at RHS and is a free event. This is a really new and fun and cool thing that we're trying to implement in our school to bring awareness. You will take an educational walk through the hallways, followed by, there'll be like booths throughout the hallways that kids will get to look at that will be from clubs, it will be from community members, just anyone that has a cultural background that wants to share their history and culture with the rest of the school. This will be followed by cultural performances. So this could be people from their missionary trips coming back and telling their stories and all of those great memories that they get to share with their community coming back and share what they've been doing, as well as some other dances and performative things. And that will be inside the Performing Arts Center. That's in collaboration with Unite Ridgefield, Spanish Club, and French Club. So they'll kind of share what they do as a club and what they bring to the school in terms of education and how they want to spread awareness for their cultures. So yeah, that's some cool things. Next, we have our Winter Spirit Week / Winter Walls that we did. So we kind of do this to up some spirit in the school coming into that slow months, like that slow week right before winter break when everyone's just trying to push through those midterms. So we had a little spirit week where kids can dress up, and as you see, some of them are more casual and they have other casual options. So it just kind of has that shared experience as we talked about before. And then we had some more decorations other than these snowmans, but these were our big ones that we posted up along the walls. Yeah, that was something super fun that we did. Next is our annual teacher door decorating contest. Now, a few months ago when I first stood here, and it was my first school board meeting, I gave an introduction into ASB and who we are and what our moral compass and concept and ideas were. And one concept that I want to come back to is that we want to bring shared experiences. And this is just one shared experience, although it may look very silly on a smaller scale. We have these shared experiences throughout our school as well. So as you can see, our top 5, Miss Olson, our lovely librarian, she brings a lot to the community. She's hosted many events like puzzle competitions and many other things. She had the opportunity to win this year with her amazing door. These were all voted on by the student body as well. So that's another shared experience that they get to have in the democracy of school. And then we have Miss Fielder, Miss Sims, Miss Peary, and Mr. Crowley. So moving on to our final conclusion of that December month and moving forward, next weekend we have our lovely winter formal. Our theme, as you can see, is Northern Lights. It will be January 25th and it will be held at the high school. So if you have any students, you can ask them about that. That's coming up very soon. And then we have our finals. Our final schedule is posted there over those short but very long 3 days going into our 3.5 day weekend. Unfortunately, not for the teachers, but for the students. So yeah, I loved presenting for you guys and I look forward to presenting for our little January recap. And thank you for having me.
Thanks, Michaela. Good job.
I wrote down democracy of school. I loved it. Okay, such a great job. We are going to actually move on to our fall sports recognition because some of our athletes have to go be athletes tonight. So I'd like to call up to the podium our athletic director, Brennan Shipley.
Good evening. I'm honored to be here tonight to be a part of a tradition that the board invites all of our fall teams and athletes to these meetings for those that have finished in the top 3 places at state. So this past fall, we celebrated these accomplishments for 2 swimmers and our girls soccer team. I would like to congratulate these remarkable athletes for their hard work, talent, and dedication, both in the pool, on the soccer field, and in the classroom. So if our girls soccer team could come on up. Come on. First, we're going to recognize our swimmers, and although they couldn't be here tonight, we still want to highlight their achievements. Rebecca Yamada and Medea Rusu both earned 2nd place titles this past season. Rebecca, a state champion last year, took 2nd place this year in the 100 breaststroke, and then Medea took 2nd place in the 100 backstroke. So for this girls soccer team, this team made history last year, if you didn't already know. They won the first soccer title in school history. They followed it up. They followed it up this year with another title to be back-to-back state champions. This group has shown a lot of teamwork, dedication, sportsmanship, all while maintaining a 3.7 GPA as a team, which is also very impressive for 22 athletes. With 10 of these seniors graduating this year, these athletes have set an extraordinary standard for future teams. And this group has made us, our community, school board, everyone really proud. So congratulations. And we are lucky enough to have Abigail Vance, team representative, here tonight to speak on their behalf. Thank you.
First off, I just want to say thank you for having us. Things like this is what makes Ridgefield really special, so we do appreciate the community support. All of us, we play club ball, but there's a definite difference when it's high school season. There's something special about getting to play for your hometown, to have Ridgefield on your jersey, and it's an honor, and we don't take it lightly because we know what we're representing. So thank you for your support. A big thank you also goes to our fire and police department. That escort home after winning state is the coolest thing in the world. I think it's arguably one of the best parts about winning state. It's probably why we wanted to win it a second time, just so we could feel it again. But it's crazy to think 2 months ago, we were back-to-back state champions. We won it. And I don't think our coaches get enough credit. Jen's here, other ones aren't, but we wouldn't have 2 rings without you guys. You could go down the line and every one of those girls could say what a difference a good coach makes. So thank you, coaches. But majority of us have lived here for our entire life. For us seniors, we've been playing together since the 3rd grade. And I remember being little and our coaches said oh, you guys are special. You guys could go win it all. And at the time I was yeah, but I didn't really believe it. And now that we've reached that goal, frankly, I still can't comprehend it, but I realized they're right. These girls are special. They're family now. And I realize what it takes to win is more than just talent. Sure, we have some great players. We had all region player of the year, some all league players, but it takes 22 girls or 22 something coming together and deciding we're going to buy into this. We're going to play as a team. We're going to work as one. And that's the team bond. That's something that's principle that goes beyond soccer. And it's something that in order to win a state championship, it's taking that to the next level, and it's all about being and playing as a team. And there's a reason it's a high honor, and that's because it's not an ordinary thing. Winning is hard. Winning back to back is even harder. We had a target coming in the season. We had a target on our back. You know, everyone wants to beat the champs, and it's easy to fall into the trap of getting cocky. But something that as a team, it was great. We had to realize that going into September, we had won nothing yet. So we had to come in and prove what we could do. In no way was the season easy or perfect. First time we played River, it was a heartbreaking loss, but there's a reason. If you didn't know, we write relentless on our legs. We know things aren't going to go perfect and we're going to have struggles. Our coach's number one saying is keep your highs low and your lows high. We knew we had to keep our attitude and emotions in check, not get too down on ourselves, but not get too excited or high depending on the situation. So we knew all that mattered was our goal from day one, and that was to be state champs again. So throughout the season, it was just next game mentality, and it's just about putting that work day in and day out so we could get that trophy because the hardest thing is it's hard to work hard and go through those lows, but it's even harder to be there and watch someone else hold that trophy. So I'm just thankful for these girls and that we were able to put that work in so we could accomplish the goal we had from the very start and hold that trophy. So thank you all, the community, the support. These past 4 years have been incredible, and soccer has blessed me in more ways than I could ever say. So thank you guys, and go Spuds.
Yes. If you hang tight, we as a board just want to shake your hand, congratulate you. You guys have back-to-back is awesome. You've made this community very proud, and you said it very well, Abby. Good job today, and good job, team. Congratulations, you deserve it, and go Spuds.
Press the button. Joe, did you want a photo? Okay, you're gonna get one. Okay. Okay, we're going to move on to our students of the month. And Lady Spuds, I know a lot of you have a game, so thank you for coming. Good luck tonight. And we're going to start with Wisdom Ridge. Is your student here?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Should I speak from here or the front?
Whatever you want.
I'll go to the front. Gary told me the front.
Okay, well, if you want to be on camera.
Well, that was awesome to listen to the cheering on the girls soccer team. I love the first Tuesday school board of the month because we get to honor a lot of students. So Scarlett, I see you over there and your family. You're going to set the tone. So I'll tell you how to do this. And then everybody else, you'll follow the same way that Scarlett does it. So I'll read the name or whoever I haven't introduced myself. I'm Alan Endringa. I'm the director at Wisdom Ridge Academy. So Scarlett, I'll read your name and then you'll get up, you'll go around to the back and Mr. Griffith is rolling out the red carpet and you can't come out this way. You got to walk the whole thing and you're going to walk the red carpet just like you won a Academy Award. And then I'm going to read what we wrote about you. Got it? Okay. Everybody got it? Good. Don't get up yet. Wisdom Ridge Academy is proud to present 8th grade student Scarlett Carnell as our January 2025 Student of the Month. Now you're going to stand all the way up here while I read all this stuff about you. Where did I leave off? Scarlett's teacher, Lindsay Robley, says this of Scarlett. Scarlett has straight A's and has even finished some of her classes a month early. Scarlett has been coming to our social enrichments for years, and she's a regular on our field trips. We're so proud of Scarlett and her academic and personal achievements. Thank you, Jason and Linda, for supporting Scarlett's success at Wisdom Ridge Academy. Scarlett has been at Wisdom Ridge since we opened our doors in September of 2021. She chose to attend Wisdom Ridge Academy because of the flexible schedule. Scarlett credits some of her success to her teachers and the staff at Wisdom Ridge because they are very kind and helpful. Outside of school, Scarlett rides horses and competes in equestrian events, and she plans on going to college after high school. Scarlett is one of the many exceptional students that we have at Wisdom Ridge Academy, and we're proud that she represents those students as our January Student of the Month. Don't go anywhere, Scarlett. Are we doing Okay. So, Scarlett, who did you bring with you today?
I brought my mom and dad.
And Jason or Linda, does either one of you want to say something? Okay. All right. Okay. And then Scarlett, hang around because you're going to come back when everybody is announced and they're going to get a group picture. Then you can leave and go have dinner. So next, do you want this or should I tell? Next is Dr. Michael Basquette and Early Learning Center.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Michael Basquette, the interim director of the Early Learning Center. And our staff at the Early Learning Center nominated Benjamin Ortega as Student of the Month. Remember what you're doing, Benji? Mom, you can come with him. Mom, you can come with him. You can come with him. Why don't I just read what was said and he can stay there? Maybe get his picture made if he feels a little better. One staff member had this to say about Benji. Benji is an exemplar student who joined us in late fall and quickly integrated into the classroom, demonstrating a seamless transition as if he had been there from the beginning. He is consistently kind to his peers and actively contributes as a classroom helper. Benji shows a strong sense of inclusion, readily accepting students of all abilities. It is for these reasons that the ELC is honored to have Benji Ortega as January Student of the Month. Okay. Sorry. Mom, Dad, anybody want to say anything? Okay, we're good. We are good. And next we have Angie Gobb from Union Ridge.
Hello, I am here tonight to recognize Miss Ruby Hankins. Ruby, go ahead and take your walk on the red carpet, my friend. Lots of fans here tonight. Ruby, here's what the staff at Union Ridge had to say about you. Ruby is truly a gem, pun intended. She is quiet at first, taking careful observation of her surroundings. She lets others shine when they need the spotlight. She's well-mannered and a respectful listener and always has a sweet smile or a hug to share. But when someone is in need, whether that be a peer or often a teacher, Ruby pops up ready to help. She knows what is needed because she's been paying attention. She knows your favorite snacks and things you like to collect. She knows when you've been misplacing things and your desk needs some cleaning and Ruby-style organization. Her love language is gift giving. She gets so much joy from finding or creating the perfect gift just because days, or for those just because days when you could use a pick-me-up. She is creative, organized, and thoughtful, and she uses her talents to lift up those around her. Ruby is happiest when the people she cares about are happy too. Ruby is also a hard worker. She grew a grade level in both reading and math on her latest assessments. Woohoo, that's awesome, hun. She cares about school and about doing her best. Ruby is the type of kid who brightens every classroom, not just because she's a good student, because she's truly a good person. Ruby, we hope you are just as proud of yourself as your family and the Union Ridge staff are. And Ruby, who'd you bring today, my friend?
My mom and dad.
Your mom and dad. Do you guys want to say anything? And your brother. Hello.
Well, I just want to thank everyone for cheering her on, and her teachers are absolutely amazing, and we've just had a wonderful year. But Ruby makes us proud every day, and things like this just make me proud to be a teacher in Ridgefield and have my kids in Ridgefield. So thank you. Good job. Oh, and it takes a village too. Yeah, so thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, up we have a Jill from Southridge.
Hi, I'm Jill Minehouse. I'm the principal at Southridge, and I get to recognize Julia Lucia Hernandez tonight as our January Student of the Month. Go ahead, Lucia. Looking fabulous this evening, my dear. All right, here is what staff at Southridge had to say about Lucia. Lucia is such a joy from the moment she sets foot on the campus every day. She enters the building with a smile on her face, greeting others and wishing them a good day. From the day she started here at Southridge, she has been a model roadrunner, modeling kindness, the 3 R's, and a love for her school community. Lucia brings her class together frequently with heartfelt encouragement. She is a kind and fair leader, and I can't wait to vote for her someday. We are so lucky to have her as a part of Southridge. Congratulations, Lucia. All right, love. Who did you bring with you tonight?
Okay, so I brought my mom, my dad, and my sister.
All right, family, does someone want to say anything?
Real quick. So we have 2 wonderful kids. We're lucky to have them. Julia is a miracle kid after 3 miscarriages and preeclampsia. My daughter, we cannot have a normal situation at home with kids. So 1 emergency C-section when we were in Germany, and Julia here when we were in Pennsylvania. For the last 3 years, we moved from Pennsylvania to Texas, Texas to Washington due to work. Every time we moved, Julia makes a very positive impression on teachers. When we moved, teachers feel very sorry, sad that she's going to a different school. And just real quick, 3 things that surprised me.
from Julia, right? So one of them, when we didn't realize, no, she wasn't even one, she was already reading at the restaurant, like the exit sign and stuff. And my wife and I were like, is she really reading? Right? And she was. That was one of them. So that's one. The second one, I just forgot. And the third one, and which makes me very, very proud. Like a week ago, Julia told me, I want to be in the Marine Corps. She wants to join eventually the Marine Corps, which makes me very proud. She wants to be a detective one day. So very, very proud of our kids. The most important things, very big accomplishment, but I want them to know that with or without accomplishment, we love them and we're very proud of them. So thank you.
All right, Mr. Graves, you're up.
Good evening, everyone. I have the privilege of recognizing the Sunset Ridge Student of the Month, and that student is Harper, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Pavelio. Come on up, Harper. All right, Harper, are you ready? Okay, here we go. Harper is an exceptional student who radiates positivity and enthusiasm in everything she does. A self-motivated learner, Harper approaches each day with a bright smile and an upbeat attitude that uplifts everyone around her. She is not only diligent and hardworking, but also a natural leader who leads by example, inspiring her peers to put forth their best effort. Harper consistently exemplifies the 3 R's: respect, responsibility, and resilience. She treats everyone with kindness and respect, takes full responsibility for her learning and actions, and demonstrates remarkable resilience when faced with challenges. Harper's willingness to lend a helping hand to staff and peers fosters a collaborative and supportive classroom environment. Her dedication, cheerful demeanor, and positive contributions make her an indispensable part of our learning community. Harper's leadership, empathy, and commitment to excellence make her truly deserving of the recognition of Student of the Month. Congratulations, Harper. I feel like you brought a big group with you. Who'd you bring?
I brought my mom, dad, and my grandparents and my sister.
Would anyone, and her kindergarten teacher, excellent. Would anyone like to say a few words? Okay, excellent. And Sunset is proud of you as well. Congratulations. Mr. Mansfield.
Thank you, Mr. Graves. My name is Ian Mansfield. I'm the principal at View Ridge Middle School. And View Ridge is extremely thrilled to announce our Student of the Month winner for January of 2025. It's really hard not to say 2024. I'm sure we've all scribbled it out on our papers. Alexis Bitter. Congratulations, Alexis. Come on up. Our teachers across the board have highlighted Alexis's maturity, positivity, kindness, and leadership in the classroom, from her exceptional work ethic to her respectful and insightful contributions. Alexis sets a shining example for her peers. Mr. Nelson, her history teacher, praises her thoughtful and detailed approach to tasks, noting her quiet yet extremely impactful leadership. Ms. Ballman, her English teacher, commends her consistent dedication, respect for others, and valuable insights and discussions. Ms. Wetzel, her choir teacher, highlights her cheerful participation, hard work, and self-advocacy. And then her STEM teacher, Mr. Hagenson, recognizes her fearless engagement and top-notch quality of work. You guys hear from 4 or 5 different teachers there that all highlight some different strength. Alexis, you are an incredibly well-rounded individual and you have a very bright future. And we're super excited to have you be our January Student of the Month. Congratulations. Alexis, who'd you bring with you?
I brought my mom and dad and all of my siblings.
Mom, dad, and all the siblings. Does anyone want to say anything?
Alexis has been really wanting student lunch since first grade. So this is really exciting to celebrate her and all her hard work. She's had many teachers over the years since first grade that I'd like to thank, that have made a huge impact on her and pushed her and challenged her and altered their curriculum to meet her needs. And that's why she is the student she is today. So we're just really proud of her and excited to see what she is going to accomplish next.
Congratulations, Alexis. And next up is Lindsay McQuiston from the high school.
All right, it is a distinct honor to recognize Kylie Solis of Ridgefield High School. I know, love it. All right, it is an honor to recognize Kylie Solis, a student whose journey is truly remarkable, as Ridgefield High School's January Student of the Month. Kylie's story is one of strength. From a broken past filled with hurt, Kylie has taken the initiative to transform herself, and instead of dwelling on the pieces that were shattered, Kylie has chosen to fix them, proving that with effort, love, and determination, brokenness can lead to a brighter, more promising future. Kylie now sees herself as someone worthy of success and happiness, a far cry from where she started. She has learned that respect means trust, and trust is built on mutual understanding and valuing others. If Kylie could give one piece of advice to younger students, it would be this: find the people that bring you joy. I think all people could use that advice right now. Kylie's passion for music and psychology has been a guiding light, offering her not only a creative outlet, but also a path forward. Music in particular has served as a form of therapy, whether she's singing, playing the piano and guitar, or writing her own songs. At Ridgefield High School, Kylie has flourished thanks to the positive atmosphere and the uplifting people she's encountered. She speaks fondly of her teachers, particularly Miss Adams and Miss House, who have had a profound influence on her. Miss Adams has supported her emotional and creative expression, while Miss House has helped her see the world through a broader lens. Kylie's journey is a testament to the power of transformation and the importance of rewriting one's story. The staff at RHS couldn't be more proud of the person Kylie has become, and we have no doubt that she will continue to inspire and uplift those around her. Congratulations, Kylie. Okay, who have you brought with you?
All right, so I brought my mom, my dad, I brought Katie, I brought my boyfriend, Maria, and Sarah over here.
Okie dokie. Anybody like to say something?
Oh, yeah.
Good evening. I am Maria Swinger Inskeep, and I am Kylie's youth leader at church. And I am not only her youth leader, but I am she's a senior, and so I lead the senior. So I'm her senior small group leader. And I was so looking forward to her joining our group this year. And I reiterate everything that was said about her. And Kylie has truly risen from the ashes. And to see her standing here today is just a testament to who she is as a person. And when she says that she wants to bring joy or have people that are joyous in her lives, she truly brings joy to everyone's lives that that she's a part of. So congratulations, Kylie.
So exciting. Okay, we have a few more people to recognize, and then we're going to do one big group picture. So next, we're going to honor our 2 employees of the month for January. First, could I have Jessica Verpoten come up? Kylie can give you lessons on how to own that red carpet. Okay, Jessica's #1 priority is always her students, whether that means delivering fantastic lessons, working one-on-one, or advocating for their needs. She teaches with patience, love, and high expectations. From the moment she was hired years ago, she has shown exemplary skills, flexibility, and dedication. Not only are her students lucky, but we are lucky to be a part of her team as well. Jessica is a teacher at Union Ridge Elementary. Congratulations, Jessica. You're welcome to hang out. We have one more staff and then we're going to do a big old photo. And next I would, oh, who did you bring with you? I forgot. Team kindergarten back there. Would any of you like to speak on Jessica's behalf? That hand was like, ready to go.
I have to say that we as a team, but me in particular, could not live without Jessica on our team. She is amazing with her students. She's amazing as a colleague, and we don't know what we would do without her. And she's also one of the last people who would ever ask or want for kudos. So we're really happy that we get to give these to her, even if she would never want them for herself.
Okay, you can hide for a few minutes. Yeah, it's okay. I introvert tonight. Okay. Next up, I'd like to call up Angel Slack, one of our ELC or early childhood leads. Angel leads our little lives each day with consistency and love, creating a safe and engaging environment for learners with all different skill levels and backgrounds. When you walk into her classroom, you see students that know what to expect, while excited to see what new and engaging activity is waiting for them. She is the example of a lifelong learner, always growing and implementing new and beneficial teaching techniques. Her students and colleagues know she is someone they can go to for support. We are lucky she's a part of our school at the Early Learning Center. Our students are getting a beautiful start to their education with her as their leader. Congratulations, Angel. And who did you bring with you? Oh, yeah. Would anybody like to speak? Is she going to come talk for us? That was awesome. Yeah. Future Employee of the Month. Okay, congrats. I'm going to do the board because everyone's going to want to go at this photo, right? Okay, we have one more recognition and then we are going to take a group photo, and after that we'll take a brief break so that people can take off if they don't want to stay for the rest of the meeting. I need to switch microphones. Switching microphones. Could I have a representative from our principals team and REA come on down? So I have some special guests with me tonight because we collectively want to thank you, Board of Directors. January is Board Appreciation Month, and absolutely, probably I know better than most how much you do for us behind the scenes, and that it is not an easy task and often is very difficult, and you all manage it with grace. And I'm personally very grateful to you for bringing me to this community because I love this community and love the role. And I just really enjoy working with all of you. So I hope we get to work together for a really long time. As you know, part of my leadership has been to really embrace other leaders in this system. So also with us tonight are a couple of additional folks. I have Elizabeth Stamp, who is one of our co-presidents from REA. So I'm gonna let her speak in a moment. And I also have Ian, our principal, Ian Mansfield, our principal from View Ridge Middle School, to speak on behalf of our principals. I do want you to know that our CAR classified union also wants to say thank you, but they have a General Assembly meeting with voting tonight, so they're not here, but Ashley sends her regards as well.
Everybody up here, our principals group just wants to thank you. It's often a thankless position. The time dedication, all that it takes to create an incredible community here. What you guys do does not go unnoticed. The voice you give to all of us to ensure that you're representing Ridgefield is really what sets you apart from others. The decisions you make are tough, but they are always in support of kids and then in support of our educators and those who are here to support our entire community. So on behalf of the principals group, thank you. You guys are amazing.
Yes. It's all right. It's all right. So I have had the fortunate of seeing this board over the years grow and change, and I cannot be more proud of the people that are standing before me right now and the way that you guys are working together as a team and with Jenny. It's game changing. It really is making a difference in our employees and our students' lives. The changes that we're going to be making moving forward and working together, it's immeasurable. And it doesn't go unnoticed, the work that you do that we don't see, right? And the time that you're given to our community and in general, to everyone in this room, we appreciate and thank you. We do. We have some thank you, is a compilation of thank yous from every campus, every group within Ridgefield. I had to go get like shopping bags to put everything in there because there's so many goodies. So you don't get to open it until the recess. So you a photo and then you get to open your gifts. So with that, if you were an employee or student of the month, would you please join the board up front? We're going to get one big group picture.
Yeah, we will be taking a 5-minute recess. Yes. Do I need to state the time? No. Okay. That was a lot. That was good.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
My bag is falling.
When you add soccer team. Yeah, it's a good one. She did. Yep. My daughter's big with water. That girl is gonna do something.
The girl in the dress,
Yeah.
girlfriend is ready.
I mean, she's just like,
Yeah.
boom.
She's
This,
like,
I
yeah.
belong here.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, I love her. There's so much good stuff. I mean, it's like heavy. There are macarons in there. I saw that the baking class made in there. I recommend finding a picture. Oh my God, my kids are obsessed with macarons. There's like 4. So they'll be really mad at me if I don't share them. There's a mug that the kids made.
Yeah, there's so much good stuff.
Actually, about to be, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time to do that. That's a good idea.
Just in case.
Yeah, I know. Teachers come to support. That's awesome. Yeah. It does. Have a good night.
Takes one to know one. I think I heard it the first time. I don't want to jump in before we're ready.
Yeah, you have to wait for the president to call us back.
I know. I'm just ready. I'm standing here.
Yes, yeah. Are you ready to come back?
We're waiting for Amanda.
Oh. One more.
All right, our 5-minute recess is over and we're gonna continue with the meeting.
Yes, so up next is our second school presentation for this year, and I'm excited to introduce again Principal Ian Mansfield and Assistant Principal Jen Johnson. They are here to co-present about all of the great things happening at View Ridge Middle School.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez, and esteemed members of the board. Thank you so much for the opportunity to come and present to you today a little bit about View Ridge Middle School, where we're at, where we're going, who we are, and the growth that we have as a building together. You know, I was standing out at our lunch today. I had some of these papers with me, and one of our students comes up and says, "Oh, Mr. Mansfield, what are you working on?" I say, well, buddy, I got a presentation. I got a presentation today. He goes, "Oh, do we have an assembly? Are you presenting to us?" I said, "Well, no, not exactly. You know, I am presenting about you." And he goes, "Oh, you're presenting about how proud you are of us, aren't you?" And that moment, absolutely, right? I'm here today because I am proud. I'm proud to be a Ridgefield educator. I'm proud to get to call myself a Ridgefield leader. I'm proud of him. This young man, you'll see highlighted in some of our data, is a part of 2 of our focus subgroups. And he has incredible growth from 7th grade to 8th grade and continuing to move on. I'm proud to be a parent of students in Ridgefield schools. And I'm just really thankful for the opportunity to even be here presenting about who we are and the progresses that we've made. Hopefully by the end of this presentation, you will understand that there's a through line, the hope that we have consistency as an educational entity about providing opportunities for growth and academic excellence for our kids, for core literacy skills and growth, for growth around executive functioning, and for growth as the whole child. So I'm going to spend some time talking to you about who our staff is a little bit and how our leadership team has created some of these school improvement goals. Ms. Johnson is going to talk to you a little bit about the data that informs those goals, how we're making those data informed decisions. And then we'll talk to you about some of the action items that we're doing consistently as a building and as a team in order to hit those goals and again, provide the best opportunity for our kids to continue to grow and become excellent leaders in our community and to go crush it up at the high school. So first of all, I have said this on a number of occasions, I think maybe even to you guys as a board. We talk to our staff about it all the time. We have an incredible teaching group. Our teachers are absolutely amazing. If you, I'm sure we can all think about it, and people have said it to each one of our educators at the middle school. You guys have to be a special kind of educator to want to be and to work with middle school students. And there's no hiding it. You absolutely do. Middle school is an extremely tough time for lots of kids. There's an incredible amount of growth. There is a big focus on the social dynamics that now change when you get to be a middle school student. This is the first time when kids get to come and have 7 different teachers and transition to content specific information to really prepare them for what high school and what college can look like. So there is a ton of challenge, and we are incredibly proud of our staff for how they educate the whole child and how they come together as a team in order to create these goals together and then create a situation where our kids can have a great experience, but also be challenged academically, but then also have all those needs met. It's an incredibly wide array. So I just want to make sure that we note that we are incredibly proud of our teachers and the teams that we have together. Our mission statement really is encompassed in what I already just said. And a mission statement is something that we're consistently looking at and making adjustment to make sure it hits our mission and vision as a district. But really, I'm not going to read it to you. I know you've seen it. Our goal is to make sure that we are creating incredible members of our community and we're preparing them for high school and beyond. So our building leadership team, we've got a bunch of names here and I'll give you some specifics about who these people are, but truthfully, our professional learning community, our PLC, is the entirety of our building. There is not a single person in our certificated staff that has not had a conversation, been a part of a staff meeting, seen the data that has informed our goals, and had input to creating what is going to be our continued focus throughout the course of our school year. These particular people are kind of our core leadership team. We have 2 leadership teams within the building, and one of them is our guiding coalition. So about half the names on this board that you see here are part of our guiding coalition, and that's where we are really focusing on the professional learning communities and professional learning teams and how that impacts student data and outcomes. And then we have our building leadership team where we're focused on climate and culture of the building and creating opportunities and to highlight successes for our students. So everybody has had some input on what things look like and how we're going to continue to focus as a team and as a building. So next, I'm gonna have Jen come on up and tell us a little bit about the data that is informing our practice as we move forward.
There we go. All right. Before I speak to our demographics at View Ridge, I'd like to take a moment to thank Dr. Rodriguez and members of the board for allowing us the opportunity to speak on behalf of View Ridge Middle School this evening and highlight some of the school improvement aspirations that we have as a community. So if you take a look at the table that we have projected here, you can see the makeup of our student body at View Ridge Middle School. Our school opened in the 2018-2019 school year, and we've experienced approximately 34% growth from that year to now, the 2024-2025 school year. Within that, we've graduated from starting with 460 students to dancing around 700 students currently. So again, our growth has been substantial. Throughout that period of growth, however, We have not experienced a great shift in our demographics. There's been a deviation of less than a percentage on either end for every subgroup. Some of the programs that we serve at View Ridge are our low income students, which make up 27% of our student body. Our students who are receiving special services, who make up 12.4% of our student body. Our Section 504 students or students on 504 plans who make up 7.7% of our student body, and our multilingual learners speaking Spanish, Russian, and Ukrainian who make up 3.8% of our student body. So the table here that you see projected reflects our results for the past 8 years on the Washington State Smarter Balanced Assessment. You can see results for both our ELA and our math, and these numbers reflect those students, or the percentages reflect those students who met a level 3 or greater on the ELA and math proficiency assessments. We are constantly striving at View Ridge for achieving 100% efficacy with all of our students. And that is the work that we are conducting in our PLT. But I think it's really important that we do note that in comparison to state averages, we are superseding state averages in both categories, ELA and math. So further delineated here, you can see the results of the Smarter Balanced Assessment in our subgroups. If you take a look closely, we do have room for growth and improvement as our Hispanic Latinx, low income, and students receiving special services are consistently outperformed by their dominant subgroups. And again, this is an area that we'll speak to for the remainder of our presentation in regards to our work in our professional learning teams. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Mansfield.
What you guys see here, and again, I know you've taken a look at some of this data, is the Washington School Improvement Framework data. You can notice that there are 2 subgroups that fall just below that threshold line. And 23-24 was the first school year that View Ridge Middle School had any subgroups that fell below that line. Just a little bit of background, the data and information that make up this data set is based on 5 things. It is SBA scores in math, SBA scores in reading, SBA growth in math, SBA growth in reading, and then attendance rates. So although this data is absolutely not where we want to be leaders in our community. We want to be leaders around Southwest Washington, the state of Washington. What I want to make sure we're highlighting is that change for us. We actually have a high number of growth in math for both of those subgroups, but our attendance has been really poor. I'm making an assumption that that's what pulled us just below the threshold, because our attendance rates have gone down significantly, specifically for those 2 subgroups. I think it's really important that we note as an entire building, and especially as a leadership team and as a multi-tiered systems of supports teams, we know these students by name and need, right? We have, again, Ms. Johnson mentioned roughly about 700 students at View Ridge Middle School between grades 7 and 8. I believe it's our job to know every single one of those students by name and need, but we've put even more of a focus on some of our systematic approaches for these students. This isn't a percentage. These are 33 students that are multilingual learners. These are 85 students with disabilities. It is our responsibility to make sure that we're doing everything we can to give them every piece of skill and opportunity to continue to grow and meet standard and exceed standard. Okay, so as you hear some of the goals that we have this year, everything is layered in. It's our job to take care of all 700 of our students, but it's also our job to make sure we're closing the gap for those who are underperforming. This is just some disaggregated data for each one of those subgroups. Again, you can see some of the data is misleading. There are that dark orange. Some of that dark orange data is actually below the threshold and some is above it, right? That's just something to take a look at. The reality is we're taking a look at this data consistently and trying to figure out what's the why, and then how do we make sure we're feeding that why with supports and strategies to improve outcomes for kids. Okay. I'm gonna stand up here and are there any high school people left? Yeah. Lindsay, I see you over there. Oh, there's Palmer, sorry. Oh, there you go, I'm going to take responsibility and tell you that we as a school at View Ridge are not hitting attendance quite as hard as the high school. They are paving the way for us because this is not Ridgefield High School problem. It is not a View Ridge Middle School problem. It's a Ridgefield School District challenge right now to get our kids to school. If you look at the data, and I want to make sure before I dive into specifics, you can see there's data in blue and there's data in orange. This is intentional. The data in blue is what's reported by OSPI. The data in orange is what's reported from our data in Ridgefield School District because OSPI has not yet reported this data. However, when we're up here next year and these numbers are significantly greater for us, 23, 24, I'm sure those numbers aren't going to change. They'll just be in blue, okay? But what you see from the 23, 24 school year, a third of our student population is not attending regularly. And I know they presented to you before, but that's 10%. They've missed 10% or more of school. That's 18 days within a school year. We cannot educate our children who are not in their seats. So that is why we have goal number 1 in our school improvement is to do everything we can to remove barriers around attendance. Okay, so you can see 24, 25, there's already some growth. And I believe that's due to a couple factors. I think there's a lot of hard work that's happening within our buildings, but I also want to be very clear and honest that this data is so far in this school year. And often we see those attendance rates kind of really drop around wintertime. People get sick, right? And they miss some school. But when you compare the data that we have now to this time last year, there is an increase for our entire building as well as our special populations. Okay, so this is an area of focus for us. And if we look at our attendance by our subgroups, again, some of those that feed into that WSIF data that put us below the threshold, the 23-24 school year, I want you to look at the right-hand side. Chronic absenteeism for our Hispanic and Latinx populations, 55.1%. More than half of that subgroup has missed at least 18 days of school, right? And that's at least. We're not like in that data, it doesn't say, there's 24 kids that have missed 30 days of school. Okay. Same thing for our students with IEPs. 42.1% of students are chronically absent. Like we have to do something as a community, as a building to remove the barriers for these students. And we put a big focus on that this year. So I'm not going to read the goal to you, right? Again, I just told you 2/3 of our students are attending at a consistent rate and 1/3 of our population is not. And guys, this is not a competition with the districts that surround us. It's not a competition with the state. What it is making sure that we're providing every opportunity for our kids. But if you look around at performance data of comparator districts, the big piece that tells us why we're underperforming is our kids aren't here as often. So we have to set the culture that being at school is what we do. With that being said, right, our goal is to get to 80%. And we see this being shared with our community a lot more now. Every other week, we're putting out data and progress about where our students are at and how we're doing as a community. And again, that number, it's an area of celebration so far. Right? There's a lot of growth that we've had with our kids and connections we've made with families as to how we're going to remove those barriers. Again, attendance and performance data, they correlate. It's no magic, right? If you're in school and if I believe that we have some of the best educators in the state, which I do, we're going to get them there, but we got to have them in our seats. We are consistently using the data that we see and at risk for students to pull them in and provide different types of intervention. So we do this at the tier 1 level. So when we think about multi-tiered systems of support, I know you all know it, but I'm going to give you a 10-second rundown. Tier 1 is what we do for all students. We make sure that we are instructing everyone. And then tier 2 is what we do for a small group of students who maybe didn't get it or didn't get what they needed after that tier 1 instruction. That tier 3 is when we make it really, really individualized. And we start to see these are the specific things that that individual needs in order to meet that expectation, whether that's, you know, our instruction or our attendance or behavior, whatever that may be. So we have been extremely intentional about teaching the tier 1, the importance of being at school. Through our success lessons, we have those happen weekly. And then we've been really intentional about pulling that data about students who are at risk of being chronically absent. And our counselors, our attendance team, they're having conversations with, and they're providing surveys to families and students about why. So we can try and get down to the bottom of what is it that's keeping you from attending at school? And then we're providing some interventions. I have to highlight our counseling team. They're doing an incredible job. They are running small groups more than I've ever seen counselors run small groups at the secondary level. We're getting down to the anxiety. We're getting down to the conflict with peers. We're getting down to the struggling to stay up with academics and how we get around those things. So I do believe that some of the focus that our teams have put on attendance and getting down to the why are the reason why we're seeing that increase. And again, the other side of the coin is we can intervene until we're blue in the face, but we also want to make sure that we're celebrating successes. We have built into our systems this year, making sure that the students who are attending consistently or the students who are making growth are being recognized for the efforts that they're making. And again, it becomes a culture. Right. And I think the more that we put the positive out there and we put that data in front of parents, families, and kids, and the why as to why it's important, and then we provide the supports, we'll continue to see a springboard of success. Okay. And I'm going to talk a little bit about goals 2 and 3. Ms. Johnson is going to present to you on, but I'm going to talk to you about a through line, right? We always talk about 5-year plans. This is just kind of a snapshot of one of them for us, that we are focusing on professional development for our teachers. We talked again about the first time that middle school students come in to see 6 to 7 different teachers within a day, right? 6 to 7 different teachers can teach in 6 to 7 different ways. We want to try and control that as much as possible. So our goal is to create consistency around some of those core routines in the classroom. So what you see here is WICR, writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading. So we are coming together as a team to try and create that consistency of the how to learn from class to class. So you don't have to go to President Jones's classroom and take notes in this way, and then go to Vice President Baker's classroom and take notes in a different way. So that how to learn becomes consistent so they can focus on the content specific what to learn. So if you see there's some vernacular here at the top, this is all implementation science. So it started out in the healthcare field, moved its way into education. It is about how you are instilling change and systems. So staff exploration, really that's the time when we as subgroups and committees are taking a look at what's the research, what's the pedagogy behind being able to create consistency for students and deciding, okay, what are we going to do? The initial implementation is we're going to try those things that we said we're going to do and see what we're going to, how we're doing it, and make some changes to then get really, really good at it for full implementation. So you can see there's kind of a span of time as to where this year we are focusing on organization. We've gone back to everybody's got a binder that looks similar and they're all the same places that you keep the things. And we have a planner that we give to students. It's got all of our core values and our rules and our routines and our schedules. And then there's an expectation that in every single class, you are writing down learning targets, you're figuring out and writing down when homework is due and you're highlighting it yellow, and you are writing down when tests are coming up and you're highlighting it pink. So in theory, again, we have middle school students. In theory, you can open up any student's planner and you can say, okay, looks like you have a test coming up in math on next Thursday. If you go back for the last 2 weeks, every single learning target then is going to inform what's going to be on that test. And you should be able to go back through your notes and be able to study and prepare for that exam. So we have identified specifically through voice of students about the struggle with coming to school has really been around some of these executive functioning skills. So that's why we started with organization. It doesn't mean that we're not focusing on literacy, because we are, But again, that consistency across every single classroom in our building, writing and reading will happen for initial implementation next year. And then in the final year, it'll be inquiry and collaboration. How are we asking questions? How are we collaborating? How are we focusing on the level and the intensity and the challenge of the questions and how we talk in our classes? So you will hear and see this through line of Wicker in our next two goals that Ms. Johnson is going to articulate for you.
All right. So I'm going to speak briefly to our academic school improvement goals, and then I will introduce one of our key initiatives that we'll be utilizing to meet those these particular goals that we've set. I do want to highlight something that Mr. Mansfield touched on early on, and that is each of our goals that have been created have been co-created and had hands-on touch points with our staff, which I believe is extremely important in terms of ensuring buy-in and that we're all rowing in the same direction. So with that, I'm going to introduce our English language arts goal, which again is grounded in previous year's data, which help to inform the goals that we are have created as a crew. So for the 2024-2025 school year, in the English language arts domains, we'll be focusing on comprehension in literature and informational text, as well as content-specific vocabulary. Our goal is to increase from an average of 41% of students who are meeting the early on grade level or above to better to at least 60% meeting early on grade level expectations or above. We will be monitoring this through our iReady diagnostic, which is provided 3 times throughout the year. We have a baseline, we conduct our baseline diagnostic in September, and then our 2 following diagnostics in December and in March. And again, one thing that I like to point out in regards to the, utilizing those diagnostics to inform our student progress is that there's a strong correlation between performance on the iReady assessments and the Smarter Balanced assessment. So some of the school-wide strategies that we are utilizing as a professional learning community to ensure that we're teaching literacy are a school-wide approach to writing and reading. And again, that's the through line there is our Wicker implementation. So writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading. We're actually modeling this for staff in an educator school-wide book study that we are conducting as a crew, modeling writing and reading strategies for staff that they can then bring to the classroom. We are doing PLT data dives in our professional learning teams. Again, taking the data from our common formative assessments and using that data to inform our instruction and where we intervene and or provide extension for students. We are prioritizing core subjects in our WIN classes. So at the end of the day, when we have our 30-minute WIN window, we prioritize English, math, social studies, and science. And each of those content areas have specific days assigned to them so that we can ensure students are getting their needs met in each core content area. And then we are continuing to improve our data literacy through using the DataWise process. Specifically, we have a committee in our building dedicated to diving in deep to data and ensuring that we are staying true to our commitments and our school improvement goals. And then all of this is driven by our commitment to the 4 PLT questions, which I will speak further to in just a moment. As you can see, in both of the tables that are produced here, both from the ELA and the mathematics, we are experiencing improvement across the board in both our reading and our writing iReady assessments. So I just want to take a moment to point that out because if we continue to produce this type of improvement, we will see marked improvement also in our SBA results as well. Our math school improvement goal will be focusing on the domains of numbers and operations, algebra and algebraic thinking, measurement and data, and geometry. And our goal is to increase from an average of 31% of students meeting early on grade level or better to at least 45%. And the school-wide strategies that we're using are very similar to those that we are utilizing for our ELA goal. However, I do want to note that with the newly introduced curriculum,
We are experiencing very positive change and improvement in student performance. And I would like to thank Assistant Superintendent Chris Griffith and his work with the Math Adoption Committee in adopting EdGEMS. It favored by our staff, and our staff feels strongly that they are going to be able to meet the needs of students in terms of math standards through the use of that curriculum. And I've heard that verbalized from every single member of our math team. So thank you, Chris Griffith. The other thing that I'd like to highlight here again is that we have math priority days for our WIN groups. And so our math teachers are getting that really solid time with students to ensure that they are meeting standard if through common formative assessment, we're finding that there needs to be intervention. Okay, so now we're going to transition to our key initiatives that will hopefully lead us to the achievement of our goals as a professional learning community. Our primary goal for this year is a focus on developing, building up, coaching up our professional learning teams, our PLTs. So the small entities that exist within our larger professional learning community, or PLC. At the beginning of the school year in our August in-service day, we conducted a PLC reset where we really began to redefine and refine what our PLT work should look like with the leadership of Dr. Rodriguez. We introduced the concept of new member, new team, which we think is very important as we have introduced a number of new staff member, including an entirely new special education team at our school. And we want to be able to utilize their voice, their expertise, their knowledge to inform our pathway forward as a community. Everything that we do in our PLTs filters through the 4 PLT questions, and I'm going to take a moment to dive into each of these. So bear with me here. So the first question, actually, I should introduce this by sharing that each Wednesday in our PLT time, our individual content area grade level PLT teams need to select one of the 4 questions or multiple questions that they will be addressing as a team in that time that has been provided. So we want to make sure that the work that's happening there is very intentional and in alignment with these 4 questions. So the first question is, what do we want all students to know and be able to do? So this is where our content area grade level teams are defining their essential standards. We title in some of our professional development work, we refer to those as our rocks. These are the standards that students must have in order to be able to move on and be successful at the next grade level. And then that is delineated between some supporting standards, such as we refer to them as, boulders, rocks, and butterflies. So boulders are our essential standards, rocks are our supporting standards, and then butterflies are our standards that they're fun to touch on. If we have time, we can touch on them. If we want to provide them as extensions, we can touch on those standards, but they're not the essential boulder standards that we want to focus on throughout the year. So again, teachers in their teams are they're going through the state standards and they're defining what those are based upon what we know the skills are that students need to have as they move upward in their education. How will we know that they know it? So in their PLT time, our professional learning teams should be developing common formative assessments and then issuing those assessments to students, bringing the data back to their Wednesday PLT teams, diving into that data to determine whether or not it's a few students who got it, a few students who didn't get it, what we need to do to change our instruction to ensure that more students get it, achieve the standard, and or to place them for our WIN intervention and extension time. So they're, again, looking at the assessments that they have created together, they're going through that data, and then they're determining where students are placed in WIN based upon that information. Yes, question.
So, sorry.
Yeah.
The WIN.
Yes.
What I need, right?
Yeah.
Who decides? Does the student decide where they go, or does the teacher decide where they go? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's a combination of both. So yeah, it's complex. So question number 3, how will we respond when some students do not learn it? Again, that is the win session that we are providing. So in our Wednesday PLT time, we're digging into the data. We're seeing which students got it, which students didn't get it, and then we are assigning them. So teachers are pulling those students individually into their win sessions to conduct reteaches, to give reassessments if necessary. Maybe you have a kid that missed a school day and missed the assessment, needs to retake it, and then also providing extension opportunities, which hits the 4th question. So students who do meet standard, what do we, where are they going to go? We provide extension opportunities, and that's where we might address those butterflies or build upon the learning that they've already acquired. Does that help to answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
We've also been really intentional about defining the difference between professional learning teams, PLTs, and our prep time. We are super fortunate at View Ridge that we have been able to manage our master schedule to support all of our content area grade level teams sharing a prep period. So what that means is 7th grade math teachers all share the same prep period. So in your prep time, that's when you are preparing materials for the week or the day. In your PLT time, that's where we're really intentionally focusing on the 4 questions and hopefully spending a good chunk of that time digging into the data. Our PLTs are, like I said, content and grade level specific. So again, we're not, we have occasions where we offer vertical teaming, but for the most part, we want to make sure that our students are, your outcome is not based upon the teacher you have, that you can go into any 7th grade English class or any 8th grade math class and receive the same content. Are we trying to take away the style of the teacher? No, we want to make sure that there's creativity and liberty in terms of how things are delivered. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that students are being taught and assessed on the same things so that we can identify need. All of our PLTs are focusing on, as I touched on earlier, creating a curriculum that is guaranteed and viable. Guaranteed means I should be able to speak to anyone in my community. I should be able to speak to my students. I should be able to speak to my parents and tell them that I guarantee that by the end of this school year, your students are going to have met this standard. They're going to have this knowledge that they need in order to move on to the next grade level. And again, that comes through the refining process where we identify as PLTs what standards do we think are the most important to guarantee, and what ones can we actually teach within a given school year, all right, making them viable. Our goal moving forward, something that we are in the process of growing, is the creation of pacing guides for families and for students, so that at the beginning of the school year, I could give a pacing guide to my parents at my open house, and they have an idea of what is going to be taught when, so that we can have that partnership with home, and then have the knowledge of when we're going to be assessed on those items, so that we also know when, as family members, when to look for the data that shows whether or not my kiddos meeting standard or not. Our goal is to have pacing guides prepared for next school year by June of this school year. And then finally, again, we are identifying in terms of intervention for our win schedule, we are identifying by student by standard where we will place students, whether that be in an intervention or an extension. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Mansfield, who will elaborate.
So we talked a little bit about multi-tiered systems support. This is just another continued key initiative, making sure we hit everybody at that tier 1 level with the things that they must know, and then providing supports and scaffolds to meet the needs of the students who are not hitting it with that tier 1 level. Again, we talked about executive functioning and organization being our focus. Right now we have daily planner and binder checks. We have a team of administrators and counselors who go out and they check every single classroom, every single day. By 10 minutes into the day, we know for sure whether or not students have the materials that they need to be prepared and ready to learn at school. Our teachers, we have whiteboards. Our teachers are awesome. They've jumped on board. Every morning they check during our morning announcements, make sure that they have their planner, they have their binder, that they've been writing down their learning targets. And if they don't have those things, they write their name on the whiteboard. An administrator or counselor walks through the hallways. They grab those whiteboards. They pull the students out of class and say, okay, where's your planner? Oh, well, I left it in my 4th period class yesterday. All right, I'll go get it. Or, if they don't have it, if they don't have that tool to find success at school, we go get it for them. So we know we have 700 students at school who have what they need in terms of physical materials to be ready for the school day. Again, we're creating systems, these systems for data, it's all based on data, right? And that data this year, we've put a big focus on celebrating success. And we've seen a lot of it, especially with that planning and organization. We've seen a decreased number of missing assignments. We've seen increased scores on assessments, right? Small steps forward will lead us to bigger change as we continue to grow, right? And those celebrations come, and we're doing it at the end of quarters in that win time, right? And so if we have students who have a certain number of missing assignments or fewer within the quarter, there's going to be a teacher who's going to provide some opportunity for you to go do something that is awesome, and you get celebrated in that space. And then the students who maybe didn't quite meet that have opportunities to go get retaught and have support from their other teachers. It's not a, well, you didn't meet it, so you don't get to do it. No, we're doing what we're normally do, which is focusing on your academic growth. Again, we are intentionally teaching. There's not a single thing that we can hold a student accountable for if we haven't directly explicitly taught it to them. So if we have an expectation around attendance or treating each other with respect or planning and organizing in a specific way or X, Y, and Z, you name it, we better have taught it, modeled it, and reinforced it as much as we can. Again, we're taking a lot of that data around win time to see how are our students performing on those essential standards that Ms. Johnson talked about. So I'm gonna go on to the next slide just so you can see this, right? And the next key initiative and what is imperative to the success of meeting the needs of all of our students is our win time, right? What I need, you guys know about this. It is by student, by standard in every single content. Math, English, history, STEM, art. Every single one of those teachers is using that PLT time to identify data around core essential standards. If students have met those standards, they're either going to have the opportunity to have a study hall, to have an extension. If they have not met those standards, we have teachers and teams going, okay, we have 3 teachers. Looks like President Jones's class really, really crushed that standard. So President Jones, looks like you're teaching that standard really well. Would you mind intervening with the group of students that is not understanding that yet? And we take that group of students and we place them in what's called a closed session. So you had a question, President Jones, about who's choosing that, right? Especially for intervention. First, the data is choosing it. The teachers are placing those students in closed sessions. And then if students haven't been placed in closed sessions, which there are lots of those students, then the students have the voice and choice, right? So it's kind of a 3-pronged approach with this WIN initiative and RTI scheduler. We have this awesome tool that kids get to go see. Here are all the sessions that are available. If it's open and I'm not already being pulled by a teacher, I can go sign up. Do I want to go get an extension in art? Do I want to go learn more about poem analysis in English? Do I want to go figure out derivatives or lines of best fit in math? I can go sign up for those things. We're also encouraging our parents to be involved in that as well. Again, every other week we send out data and information and updates, and we tell parents, hey, this is a great Friday night, Saturday conversation with your student. Open up your RTI scheduler. Have you been pulled into sessions? Oh, no, you haven't? Well, let's go pull up your Skyward and see where do you have some missing assignments or where do you have to take, where do you need to retake a test? Okay, looks like math, you didn't do so well. Go sign up for Mr. Jones' session. So the 3-pronged approach is teachers are identifying via data, students and families have voice and choice, and then our MTSS teams are putting together situations in small groups where kids need interventions. Right? We're not taking time away from core instruction, which is incredibly important. We have this built into our school day where our kids can get the supports that they need, academic, social, emotional, behavioral, whatever that may be, to be able to meet our expectation. This is really cool data. I'm not going to dive into the specifics of this because I promised I would stay under an hour. But it's really, really informative for us, right? We have almost 1,600 sessions that have been created throughout the course of the school year. And these are sessions that are specific to by student, by standard. So we have the opportunity for kids to go get retaught the things that they need to learn in order to master those standards. Last thing, right, is we're continuing to put a focus on shifts around those identified subgroups. We're focusing on staff attending IEP meetings, right? In the legal sense of the word, you need one general education rep at an IEP meeting who is knowledgeable about the content and curriculum. It's our expectation that every single teacher attends an IEP meeting. All 6 of your teachers had better be there to support you and tell you, here are the things you're doing well, here's how we'll continue to support you. In those IEP meetings, we're also talking about attendance barriers and making sure, right, that we're providing the supports that are needed for those students. We've also made some adjustments to our master schedule, providing a larger continuum of supports and services for students in special education. Again, doing everything we can to meet their needs and their goals, filling some of those holes and gaps while also continuing to expose them to grade level standards and curriculum. Again, we're constantly evaluating how our program's doing. Are we meeting the needs of our students? We have an incredible ML TOSA, Erica Muir, who works with multiple buildings. She has, with those 33 students, again, been working with families and meeting with them and talking about attendance and taking surveys on, well, maybe you weren't here consistently last year. How do we fix that this year? And making sure that voice is there from the families and for the students to be able to be here and attending consistently. And again, the administration is consistently focusing on what we know we can control. And one of those pieces is attendance. So we're doing everything we can to identify those students and then find the people who can support them in order to meet their goals. So with that being said, those are our big goals and key initiatives that we want to be able to provide the best opportunities and outcomes for all, I'm going to say 700 of our students at View Ridge Middle School. Questions for Ms. Johnson or I?
Tell us more about what I need, what that looks like. You mentioned a 30-minute session, like walk us through like a day in a classroom if the student qualifies or needs that. What does that look like?
Yeah, so it's 4 days a week right now because on Mondays we run Success, which is like our social emotional learning time, right? Where we're focusing on things that we need to do, the climate and culture of the building, et cetera. And then 4 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there is a system that kids can open up through their Chromebook and Clever where they can either, again, have a teacher assign them a session, or a student has chosen a session for the next week. So by Tuesday morning, all sessions are locked. So that means that over the weekend, starting on Friday of the previous week, students need to go look and see, did teachers pull me for these reteaches or for a test retake, or do I get to go sign up for something? And so by Tuesday morning and Monday, right, during Success, we remind people, hey, if your win sessions aren't full yet, you need to go sign up for them. Because then on Tuesday morning, Ms. Johnson and I, we go and we auto schedule any student that's not already in a session, and they go into those sessions. What we expect, again, Ms. Johnson talked about priority days. Math has a priority day on Tuesday. Social studies has a priority day on Wednesday. History has ELA has a priority day on Thursday, and science is Friday. So what that means is if Mr. Mansfield needs to be pulled to be retaught both something in science and in history, if I get pulled on Thursday for history, science can't take me. On Friday is when science can take me for that reteach opportunity. So again, that's all being identified in those reteaches and extensions, right? By our PLT teams on those Wednesday mornings and during their prep times. Like Ms. Johnson absolutely talked correctly about, like, we are very lucky for our entire content team, 7th and 8th, to have prep time together. They're not just prepping on those times, as we'll go walk into a portable with our math teams and they are talking about and looking at data. So this has become a culture that, we're getting the kids the supports that they need. Did I answer your question?
Kind of following up on that, I was noticing in your graph, you had a percentage that were not enrolled in WIN. So what happens to those kids that if they get auto enrolled perhaps, and then they don't attend, what does that look like?
Oh, they attend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there attendance?
Yeah. Yeah, so what you're seeing there is that by Tuesday morning, either a teacher hasn't pulled them or they haven't chosen a session. So that data is telling us, there's roughly 60-ish kids of our 700 on average, sometimes more, sometimes less, that haven't been assigned a session for that day. And so what the system and the scheduler will do is we can go and we can kind of select the reasons as to why we'll push them into specific sessions. And so we'll say, we want them to be in an open session. We want it to be within a core content, and we want it to be with a teacher that they're assigned to. And then the system will auto schedule them into those sessions. And sure, there's some kids who don't attend WIN sessions. I don't want to tell you we have 100% attendance in every single one of those. Every once in a while, there's a kid who needs an opportunity to go meet with a counselor when they're not teaching a session, or they need to connect with Officer Julian, or they need to come be up front in the main office to be able to get some needs met. Like our attendance in WIN is not 100%.
Okay, I have a couple more things. I also was wondering if you change up the rotation at all, or if you've ever looked at, like, with looking at your data, the rotation of the days that you like focus in on groups and
The priority days?
Yeah, priority days on each of the core areas, because attendance a lot of times is like, kids miss Fridays or kids miss Mondays. So are they consistently missing?
It's
one of
like you
those
sit
4
on my
days?
building leadership team. And we'd love to have you. We are going to be making changes at the semester. And I think in reflection, because this is the first time we've used this particular system with WIN, which we are huge fans of, we'll be making rotations at the quarter, right? So there will be different priority days. And I want to be really clear, the priority days do not mean that students cannot be pulled for interventions by other teams. It's just that if I need to be pulled for both, that is the day that they can guarantee they're going to get me. Right? We have math and history and English it's the expectation that we have at least 3 teachers per grade level content. And it's the expectation that one is doing an intervention, one is doing an extension, and then one is doing some type of missing assignment, test retake, makeup.
I like that. And then I'm working my way backwards through your presentation of my questions. The last one was, do you ever disaggregate the data for attendance based on type of attendance? Like, I know for illness, post-COVID, there was chunks of time where we were told to stay home, and now that has gone away a bit. So do you ever pull those numbers out and just kind of look at percentages of what the attendance is attributed to?
We do. If I'm really blunt and honest, I don't know how accurate that data is.
Totally.
So there are absolutely times, and that's where it becomes really anecdotal as we're seeing those kids who are at risk and we're meeting with them, because we have to have consistency around what we are going to allow in terms of an absence. So yeah, we pull that. Absolutely. And especially those who are having unexcused absences, right? We have some state laws about what we have to do and what we do in order to intervene for those students. So yes, we do. Is it incredibly impactful to the decisions we make about interventions for attendance? Not really.
I just want to say thank you for your attention to all the data and how intentional you are obviously being with putting all this together. I appreciate it. Thank you for the presentation also.
Guys, if I
Hi.
can,
Oh, go
Amber,
ahead.
just sorry, excuse me, Vice President Baker.
That's okay. You can call me Amber.
Okay. We talked a lot about data and student performance. Our kids are amazing, and the opportunities that we get to provide our kids between our STEM programs and our electives, like, I just want you to take a quick peek at the pictures that you see there. We have kids that are performing plays for our elementary students. They're going up and watching high school students, so they are really developing a love for drama and theater. We just recently this week created a STEM opportunity for our elementary school kids to come up and learn from our middle school students and create toolboxes out of wood. We have industry days, like what our kids are, like the opportunities that they have because of the creativity and the advocacy that our teachers have. I'd love to tell you that Ms. Johnson and I are up here like doing our best to play puppet, but we're not. Our teachers are incredible, and they know that experiences are what kids remember, and they are going to give them every cool experience about middle school that they can. And we are super fortunate to have that opportunity to do that. So I apologize, Vice President Baker, please.
No problem. You don't need to apologize for highlighting awesome students. I think I want to just say that first, thank you for all the work that's being done at your building. I think what I'm left with first is how complicated it can be to try to figure out how to deliver education for in a model that is no longer just a one size fits all, as sort of the accepted way to do it, and to shift a system that maybe historically has been more geared towards kind of like we just do the thing, and if you get it, great. If you don't, okay. So appreciation for that. It's very clear that a lot of work is going in to figuring out how best to meet the needs of each individual student. So that came across really clearly. I have a question about the standards that you referenced, the boulders, rocks, butterflies. Made me imagine that there's a massive list of standards and you're going through and reviewing what's our best, most important thing that we can deliver and actually do in a year, is what I heard you say. So can you help me understand how? I'm not a huge fan of standardized testing because I understand the problems of it generally. And I understand that it is what people look at to say, how are we doing or how aren't we doing? How do the boulders, rocks, butterflies match up with how the ESPA is designed in terms of what we're getting graded on in the big picture and what is getting determined at the building level to be like the important and things like, yeah, the standards that we can actually approach, deliver, and meet?
That's a great question. I'm going to answer it on two different levels. One, the state has recognized that there's an incredible amount of standards for people to sift through, and they're going through a process where they're adopting more succinct and core standards right now, right? So I believe, if I'm correct, it's a English, math, and then science is shortly behind that are going to come out with new standards that are supposed to be this month, right? No, supposed to be. We'll get there. But the reality is, yes, like we have incredible educators who have lots of experience in education in educating our children, and their job is to figure out like, what is SBA assessing us on, and how do those core skills show up in those standards? And it's pretty easy to see those float to the top.
Okay, thank you for that. And then I just wanted to make sure I saw the right thing because I don't have your slides in front of me, but the very beginning you were showing us the SBA data for the last however many years with the COVID gap, like the very beginning one. And it looked like we're kind of going down a little bit still.
Yeah.
Which I not to like highlight that, but not so great part, right? So,
should.
and then, but then you also were sharing that we are maybe looking a little bit better based on iReady for this year. So yay, we're gonna celebrate that. But I also heard you saying attendance is correlated with test results. And I wanted to make sure I heard that correctly. And also our test results, our attendance is going up, but we haven't seen that hit test results quite yet.
Attendance is going up this year.
This year, okay. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure I'm understanding the trends. Yeah. Because sometimes we get asked about those kinds of things. Yeah. Okay, so attendance is going up this year. we're seeing iReady going up a bit this year. So we kind of are waiting to see where we are at. Okay. Thank you. I just
Yeah,
wanted to
and-
make sure I was
and
understanding the
You
graphs.
can see the correlation with the dip in performance at both of our grade levels and both of our contents. Attendance does something very, very similar, right? If I go over to our attendance data for years, right, you see in 18, 19 and 17, 18, 83 and 86% of students are attending regularly. Then when we get back from COVID, it's like the C word we don't want to say, we're down at the 60%. We can't use COVID as an excuse. We absolutely will not. But we also have to understand, right, that our 8th graders right now were 3rd graders when they missed the majority of their instruction. Like if you ask any educator who's worth their weight, they know that the most important and integral time to be able to determine and predictive success for students is their 3rd grade literacy levels. Our kids have missed a lot.
And I think across the district, the sort of the 2-year gap there is something that everyone is seeing and working on. And I think also something we've talked a bit about as a board is not just the lost learning, but people's understanding of work and leaving the house has changed just dramatically across all of our sectors, not just our students. So I can't imagine that this is an easy problem to tackle 100%, because it's not just at school. I know. So as an employer, I know that too. It's not just at school. A lot has changed since then. But thank you for that presentation.
Donna, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm just sitting here in awe of how fortunate our community is and how fortunate our middle schoolers are to be attending a school where you care so much and you've gone into such depth and detail to make sure every student has all they can possibly need to be successful. It's amazing. I can't imagine there's a lot of communities out there, a lot of middle schools out there that are doing what you guys are doing. And thank you.
Agreed. The attendance, is with the high school, they're charging, and I hope we get it figured out, honestly. And I hope what they're doing at the high school can have like awesome data and we're seeing the needle move and everybody else can jump on board, because if it's happening at school, it will transfer to the workplace. And when you're not at school, you're not learning. When you're not at work, you're not working. And so we do need to get it fixed. Number 2, I'm going to take my board member hat off, put my dad hat on. And I can tell you that my daughter benefited from WIN. Amazing. Like it was a difference from her kind of giving up and her seeing that there's a way to get out of it, right? Like with math, she struggled with math, and it allowed her that opportunity. And you guys said it, maybe one teacher can say it till he's blue in the face or she's blue in the face, and that second teacher just says it a little different and you got it. And that's where I see that WIN program can, you got a couple different people like, I can't get through to this kid. Hey, let me try it. Right. So I can tell you from a dad, that WIN program is so important to me. And now if you guys decide that you're going to get rid of it one of these days, I'm not going to stop you because I don't know, you guys are the ones that decide, but I can tell you that it's helping kids it helped my kid. So thank you for that. I think that's it.
Okay. I want to just say thank you. Board, I just want to highlight a couple of things that Principal Mansfield and Assistant Principal Johnson talked about. And first, I just want to say thank you to them. I talked about this last time we had a school report, but leadership matters and these things don't happen by accident. And yes, we do have amazing teachers in Ridgefield. We're really blessed. But we also have really incredible principals and assistant principals in our district that care a lot about our students and our staff. And they have done everything they can, I think, to set up our teachers to be successful so that our students can be successful, from really carefully constructing that master schedule, implementing the FlexiSched RTI scheduler and rolling that out carefully, supporting by walking down the hall and checking the whiteboard and pulling the kid out and saying, where is your planner? Right. Having taught seventh grade, I was having a full flashback up here about the binders because I was an avid teacher. So those things don't happen by accident, and they don't happen if you all just sit in your office on the computer. They happen because you're out running. And one of my favorite things when I visit is both Ian and Jen have a mobile desk, a standing station on wheels. It's literally like an old AV cart. You know, they used to bring the TV into the classroom. It's like that. And they put their laptop on it and their coffee mug and whatever else. And they roll around the school taking care of business and also taking care of people. And so I just really want to say thank you to the two of you. It doesn't go unnoticed or unappreciated. So just really proud of your work as leaders in the system. For the board, a couple things, and really for the public too, you know, they talked about the new math curriculum at GEMS. It has been rave reviews from our 6th through 8th grade math teachers. And curriculum is one of those things that EP&O levies pay for. So we cut curriculum out of the budget this year in an effort to get closer to a balanced budget. And as the EP&O continues to get eaten up with unfunded basic ed services like special education, we continue to kick that curriculum can down the road. But a high quality curriculum does matter. The teacher matters more, but a high quality curriculum can lighten the load for a teacher in a way that allows them to really focus on that creativity and that one-on-one and that connection. And so it's been such a blessing, I think, for our teachers and our students to have that new math curriculum, but that's one of those things that we have to really think about financially. They also talked a little bit about the guaranteed viable curriculum work. So that's something we're really engaged in across the whole system. And having that guaranteed is like, what do we say we're going to do? And we're going to do it. Like, and it's so important. You don't get to opt out. Jake, you get to take the test because it's so important. You're going to take it. We're going to make sure you take it. Like, so it's going to be guaranteed. The viable is doable. You are absolutely spot on. There's studies that have been done on how long would it take to actually teach all of the standards to a place where kids were proficient. It would take 22 grade levels. It's research by Marzano. 22. We go to grade 12 if you count kinder 13. Like we would need almost 10 more years. So it is absolutely ludicrous, I'm going to say it in a public meeting, to expect that our teachers are going to get through all of that in any way, shape, or form where kids can actually take it and use it. So one of the things that we are using some of our in-service days, we have some in-service days coming up. So I know kids are like, yay, no school. But for us, all of the adults are still here working. They're working really hard to do the best that they can for the kids. And we've done some professional development with our principals and we're getting ready to roll that out further to teachers over the next couple of in-service days. But it's around identifying those guaranteed standards. The state is in the process of re-identifying priority standards. We're waiting to see. They're supposed to be released this month. There's a press conference with Superintendent Chris Reichdahl on Thursday that we'll be enjoying during our principal PD from 10 to 11 a.m. This will be on TVW, so you can watch if you want to. I'm waiting to see if he's going to say anything about the standards. So it's been over a decade since we adopted Common Core. People feel lots of ways about Common Core, but the bottom line is it's time for a refresh. So OSPI has been working on that for the last year or so. I opened my computer at one point because I was looking to see, like, did it come out today? Nope, it's still not there. So we're kind of waiting on that piece from the state. We want to see what they say, but some of the preliminary samples are fewer standards, but each standard has like 10, 15, 20 parts to it. Not helpful. So one of the tools we're training staff around is something called the REAL criteria. It's an acronym. We love acronyms in education. But REAL stands for R's for readiness, which is this a skill kids need in order to be successful in the next level? Is this a piece of 8th grade math I'm going to need so that I can survive algebra? Right? E is for endurance. Is this something that's going to matter in life after school? I do use algebra, just for the record, and I used it like in a board meeting, even when we talked about the levy rates. So I do use that. I don't use calculus. I did take it, but I don't use that in my daily life. Assessed. So we do take a look at what is on the state assessment. When the state adopts new standards, guess what? They're going to change the assessment too. So we do this to ourselves a little bit as educators, but just know, so they're going to announce new standards. They're going to say, oh, start teaching them next year, but we're still going to use the old test because we won't have the new test ready. That's fun. And then, you know, a year after that, they might launch a new test and then they'll pilot it and then they'll say, oh, here's the bugs. So then, right. So we do our best, but this is why the PLCs and PLTs are so important. And the data out of the classroom is important. Yes, the SBA is important. Yes, we should expect students to be successful and we need to help them to do that, but it's only one component of being a successful student. And the L is for leverage, and that's, is this a transferable skill? Being able to read a graph is a transferable skill. Being able to summarize and pull out the key points, that will serve you in pretty much every industry, because guess what? There's reading no matter where you go. I always felt for my 7th graders that didn't like to write. I'm sorry, sweetheart. Everybody has to write. Farmers, landscapers, moms, right? Clerks, secretaries. I mean, we all have to write. So those are high leverage skills. So using those REAL criteria, our teachers, because they're the ones who know best, because they're on the front lines with the kids, will really take a look at what does the state say is priority. And then of that, what do we think for our kids in Ridgefield, based on what we know about our students and our community, what then do we think is really the critical things we need to guarantee? And when we say we're going to guarantee it, there's a reason I like that word. I had a whole debate with the principals about this. Now I'm getting long-winded. Guarantee is important to me because it's what we're guaranteeing to kids. We promise we're going to help you get there. It's a guarantee to families. This is what we ensure your child's going to know and be able to do by the end of this course, class, grade level, right? I think we should be able to make that kind of commitment to our community. They invest a great deal in us in educating their children. So I just wanted to highlight some of those things and give you a little more background on what's happening with the guaranteed and viable curriculum work, because it is not just View Ridge's goal that we have the priority and guaranteed standards and the scope and sequence identified by the end of the year. That's a district internal goal that we're working as a principal and assistant principal team to work through that process, so that when teachers go home for the summer, which they deserve because they work really hard during the school year, they know what the guaranteed standards are they're going to be responsible for next year, and they know the approximate timeline and the materials that are available to them to do that, so that hopefully they can truly relax. And for the people who don't, looking at Liz, they can go home and they can plan to their heart's content if they want to, because they'll know what's coming. So again, just want to say thank you, View Ridge. Great job. Took my notes like I do. So thank you. All right. I'm going to go so fast. Oh, clicker. Oh my goodness. Okay. Quickly. I thought it would be important just to share very briefly with the board. I mean, you know that there are 2 propositions on the February 11th, 2025 special election, but I wanted to share that I've been out giving informational fact-based presentations to some community groups and also to staff at our schools. And this is just really what we've shared with them. So just really being clear that Proposition 12 is a replacement to EP&O levy, not a new tax, that Proposition 13 is new, that capital and tech levies are not new in our state or our region because Vancouver School District has one, Evergreen School District has one, Camas has one. It's not uncommon, but it is new for us here in Ridgefield. We've been sharing with everyone the numbers, which are right in the ballot measure. So this will be available for voters as well. This information is also available on our website. So both Proposition 12 and 13 are for 3-year terms. I've been having fun with staff explaining that while we live on an August to July calendar, the rest of the world is January to December. So 26 to 28, the Proposition 12 replacement EP&O levy will raise about $44 million for programs and operations over that 3-year period with an approximate tax rate of $1.75 per thousand in assessed valuation. So I've been teaching everybody what that means. Our current levy had an approximate tax rate of $1.50 that was estimated. As you know, it can go up or down a few cents based on the actual assessed valuation of the entire district when we get to that tax year. But this does represent a 25-cent increase over the prior EP&O approximate tax rate. And Proposition 13, capital and technology, is for exactly what it sounds like, capital projects and technology. Also a 3-year term will raise about $21 million, again, over that 3-year period with an approximate tax rate of 84 cents. Again, this is not something we've had in Ridgefield, so just wanting to be very clear, this is the new piece. So combined, a 25-cent increase on Proposition 12 with our replacement levy and an 84-cent new ask with Proposition 13 is a combined additional ask of our taxpayers of $1.09. So just wanting to be very clear and make sure folks have that information. These are some nice graphics. This just to show what the levy would fund. These are available on our website as well. The replacement EP&O funds a lot of different things. It funds a lot of things that are considered enrichment, like athletics, like our amazing girls soccer team here tonight. So all of our coaches are paid from levy funds, uniforms, all of those kinds of things. A lot of our amazing performing arts, which we have some super talented visual and performing art teachers in this district as well. A lot of that is funded for by the levy, some of our other clubs and activities, some of the PDs. So for example, we talked about the in-service days and working on that guaranteed and viable curriculum in our PLTs with our teachers. Some of those in-service days are paid for by the levy. So real tangible things and really funds things that we're currently funding. It would continue to fund those items. Proposition 13, really straightforward. It's only going to go to 3 things. Construction of elementary number 3. That is not to replace Union Ridge or South Ridge. I did get a question last week and someone said, how are you going to put all the Union Ridge kids in that new building? And I looked at the person straight in the eye and said, I'm not. So we're looking for a 3rd building because actually our 2 elementaries are way over capacity. And then it will pay for some deferred maintenance projects at South Ridge and Union Ridge, primarily roofs and HVAC units on the original buildings, which are in their 60s and 70s, they're geriatric buildings. And then it restores our district's $500,000 per year technology budget. We had to cut that from our budget this year, again, in an effort to get to a balanced budget. And that hasn't hit our staff and our students yet because we always replenish in the summer with technology. So we're going to have a cycle where we don't have replacement computers in the budget for staff and for students. And so really looking for a way to long-term make sure that we're protecting some funding for that. Lots of frequently asked questions. There is a great FAQ on our webpage, so you can go to this QR code. It will take us to our district website. There's an FAQ there. It answers all of these kinds of questions. Or you can talk to anyone who works for the district, and I feel pretty confident that they would be able to answer this in a factual way that is accurate for you. And last, this is new, so no one's got to see this yet. So unveiling, dun, da, da, da. So we have done some revisions. As you are aware, there was a lot of feedback from the community about reducing where possible with the elementary. And really, I think I'm just going to say right sizing the design, thinking about what are needs and versus what are wants. And so on the left-hand side, the graphic is the original blueprint. This is the design that was part of last year's bond, April 2024. And on the right, you can see a current modification plan. We are continuing to look for cost saving measures, but what I would point out to you is I need a light, I guess, but this little top piece that's got hash marks, that doesn't exist anymore, right? So where the building kind of bumps out with those classrooms, it's actually just straight across wall now. We've eliminated some of the collaboration space, the extra shelving, the cabinetry, the like fancy, I don't know, like waiting area for the wing of classrooms. That's gone. It's just a hallway now. So we've kind of cleaned that up. You can see on the upper right, lower right, this is the first floor. And then we've done the same thing. Also, I guess I want to point out the gym. So in the left one, you can see it's a regulation size court. There's bleachers. There's lots of storage. In the right, you can see we've cut, I can't read that tiny number, but over 2,200 square feet out of the gym. Specifically eliminated the bleachers, eliminated the wood flooring. We're just going to do traditional old rubber floor that you always do in an elementary. You can't see on this graphic, but the field outside is no longer turf. There's no more lights. It's just grass. And so we really are looking to make all the modifications that folks shared with us and feedback post bond, and as we've gone through the cafes and the town hall this year as well. And here's the second floor for you. So same thing. It's going to cut kind of those jutting out pieces. And what happened is we cut some of the interior storage, extra offices, those kinds of things. So I am really proud to say we've cut approximately 6,000 square feet out of the building without cutting a single classroom. And so I just think it's really important for you as a board to know that that's the work that we've been doing in preparation if we are able to move forward with the project.
May I ask a quick question?
Of course.
Will you be putting this on our levy page so that other people could find it? The images on the FAQ
I
page,
won't, but
perhaps?
Joe will.
Joe, okay.
There's Joe.
And
There's
Joe,
Joe.
if when you do that, would you make it very obvious the parts that are hash marked? Like, can we make it a color and really loudly say no longer part of the design, just so it's real obvious what's not included? I think that would be helpful. Just when I first looked at this, I had to try to figure out what was cut versus what had some cute hash mark on it.
Yes.
Would that be feasible? I will just say I have gotten this question quite a bit about what's the new design. Can people see it?
Yeah. And I think I would want to just share if we wanted to start completely over because we weren't worried about a timeline and sunk cost and all of those things. Is this the exact design we'd probably end up with? Probably not. It would look like this. It'd be a box and it'd be 2 stories tall. But given the work that's been done, we're looking for anywhere that we can have construction efficiencies and space efficiencies and heating and cooling efficiencies. That is a much smaller ask in terms of redesign. There's also some redesign happening because we now have to implement the 2021 energy code. It's now official in 2025. We have to implement it now. So that's not just us, that's everyone. I was being funny, but no one laughed. So there is some redesign. Oh, thanks, Ian. Appreciate that. There's a little bit of redesign happening. We also, tomorrow, in fact, I have a meeting and I have our elementary principals there and a few staff members there. We're going to talk about the special education wing of the building and think about that. We're also going to talk about technology. This building was designed in 2017, 18. I'm looking at Mr. Griffith. So there's like, things have evolved as they do. And so we're going to take a look at the technology, some of the safety things. I can tell you a piece that's not in here that's going to cause a little bit is that part of the new energy code is every single door to the exterior is supposed to have a vestibule. for energy savings. Can I tell you how expensive that is? So big thank you to our code enforcement folks in Ridgefield. They're all learning, like the county is learning right now, because I wasn't kidding. Everybody is just now implementing this new code. So everyone's trying to make sense of it. And so we have been able to reach agreement that kind of major in and out doors will have vestibules. So you can see on there's like a little dot, dot, dot kind of in that cutout piece on the top. That's actually the main front entry. There's a vestibule already there. We have to add one now to the one that's in the cutout on the side, where kids could go out to go to the playground, which is down at the bottom. You can't see it. And we have to add one at this one that's at the bottom of that centerpiece. So those things add costs. So we're trying to find ways to do it as inexpensively and unfancily, it's not a word, as possible.
It should be.
Yeah. So Joe will get those posted, and just want the community to be aware that we're continuing to look for cost savings to ensure that the project comes in on budget and on time, should they choose to approve the levy. And my only other thing is I did have a chance to go to the WASA WASDA WASBO Legislative Conference this weekend, along with Paula McCoy. She's the current president of WASBO, of the State Business Officers Association. So she was fancy and got to talk to the whole room. And some great conference sessions, just really great, I would say, collaboration, communication between all of those state associations to really be aligned around where the shortfalls are in public education. I am legitimately speaking factually, and there is a great website. It's waschoolfunding.org. schoolfunding.org, that has some great information on just the realities of school funding. And it's why you hear about our neighboring districts laying off staff. It's why you hear about districts in what's called binding conditions. I think we've had 5 or 6 in binding conditions, which basically means that they have gone broke. They're not solvent. And we have another, Jake might remember, 14 districts that are on the watch list. 19 out of 295. Like, so it's just every month goes by, another district is financially unstable and in trouble. And we're doing everything we can to make sure we don't find ourselves in that position. But there is a bigger problem. And so there's going to be some real concerted, I think, advocacy around special education funding, transportation funding, and MSOCs, which is material supplies and operating costs. And someone at the conference said NERCs, and it's been 6-7 years since someone said NERCs to me. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, I forgot about that. Non-employment related costs, I think, is that, yeah, again, acronyms. So it was great. And I'm sure Jake can share some more about that. That concludes my superintendent update. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. That takes us to board communications. So, Jake.
Yeah, I'll try to be brief, but I'll piggyback on Dr. Rodriguez's comments. Got to attend the conference with Paula and Dr. Rodriguez. It was a great opportunity just to learn about the legislative agenda. There was one theme that stood out throughout the 2 days. It was, if you look at the Washington Constitution, they describe public education as the paramount duty of the state. There's a giant gap in that reality that the state is not meeting. And so it was nice to see that these 3 organizations that represented the conference are all together on one legislative agenda. And as Dr. Rodriguez shared, it all comes back to special ed, MSOC, and transportation. From a special ed standpoint, the goal is to create legislation to increase the multiplier for tier 1, tier 2, and pre-K students. From MSOC, we have a drastic need to close the funding gap. Some of those examples of under MSOC are things like insurance, utilities, curriculum, security, and professional development, and then a complete overhaul of the transportation model is needed as well. So legislative session started yesterday. It's 105 straight days. So as bills around K-12 come up, I'll do my best to inform this body through social media and through these meetings and so forth. I'll have Danny add some resources to my minutes report as well. There's a great weekly newsletter called This Week in Olympia. There's a great podcast by Dan Steele where he gives weekly updates on the K-12 bills. And then the Washington Legislative website has an amazing bill tracker system that they'll push out some information on as well. In addition to that, tomorrow I'll have my monthly office hours with Dr. Rodriguez at Bunny's. If you want to talk about the levies, if you want to talk about legislative issues, etc., come see us tomorrow at 4. That's all.
Good report, Jake. Thank you. Donna.
I really don't have anything. Thank you all for coming tonight. I appreciate any community member that has stuck around and listened to all of this. Our school district is awesome.
Amanda.
Yes, I got invited to attend the Multilingual Families Advisory Group that's at Sunset and View Ridge like a couple weeks ago. And it was really cool because they bring together a lot of the families that are impacted a lot in that demographic you guys were talking about. But they are really engaging with those families and like how to get them really connected with the school. And so they kind of impromptu came up with the idea of celebrating the Rosca de Res, the Three Kings Day, and on January 6th, which was our first day back after break, and they like pulled it together and brought in the special Three Kings bread and hid something babies or something inside of it. I heard a specific someone got one, and if you get this it means that you're supposed to host like another party basically. February 2nd, tamales at Joe's.
So excited, looking forward to that.
Yeah, I am too. But it was really cool to see that organization and to they are doing some really cool things to engage with the community. One of the things too that they talked about was getting people into the refuge. And so they had a representative that works with the refuge and works with different groups to kind of try to bring them into the refuge, English language learners, and all these different like interactive maps that you can do and go on hikes through the refuge, which I thought was just so cool. And just trying to connect with the community on that. And then I've been attending Friends of the Refuge meetings, which just kind of ties it all together. And they're coming up with just kind of from a community standpoint, they're creating this nature play area and a community classroom in their new big building. And they are really wanting to work with the schools. So it's kind of an opportunity for community and teachers and staff that are interested to get involved in a really direct way in our community. And it's going to be so cool. Their designs are so cool. And then also I wanted to just highlight at the Ridge, which is the organization that goes along with South Ridge and View Ridge. They're hosting their family bingo night, which is Friday, January 24th. And it's going to be really fun. And you can pre-order pizza, but everybody should go and every family is welcome, not just Sunset and View Ridge families, but every family in the community. So I will be there.
Thanks, Amanda. Amber.
Okay, my update I think is a bit brief tonight for me. Had a good break. Hope everybody else did as well. Getting back, got to do coffee hours last week at Lava Java on Thursday morning and had the privilege of having Dr. Rodriguez join me for that. And it was very well attended. I keep sort of wondering if maybe I might not keep doing them, but I have decided to continue on to do those monthly because every time more people come. So that's been wonderful to see. And it's not really about the numbers, it's about the connection with people. So I will continue to do those throughout the rest of the school year. Gonna move them back to the third Thursday of the month. Joe, I'll get you the dates to make sure that gets out to the public. And those will be, I think, going back to 9 to 10, 8:30 is a bit early. I thought I might catch some people on their way to work, but that's not how it works. So we'll go 9 to 10 on the third Thursday of Lava Java. And then also just, I know there's some high school people here still. Michaela is not here. Pass on kudos to that girl. She is phenomenal. And I just want to say to the students, to the staff, to the leadership, the themes and connections and like the goals behind their activities. Maybe that is always how it's been, but she and this year, the students have given such great presentations to connect and share with us the why of the work that they're doing as student leaders. So just continue to be really impressed by them and their reports this year, and appreciative that we get to hear directly from them. So thank you for your work supporting them, and please pass that on to Michaela as well. Thanks.
Yep. Good job. I just want to say Happy New Year, and we will, it's going to be busy, right? We're hitting the ground running in January, and we're going to celebrate in February, and yeah, look, 25 is going to be awesome. So looking forward to it. Yes, that takes us. Danny, do we have any public comment tonight?
We do have one person for public comment. Pete Bartell's been waiting very patiently. Just a reminder, you will have 3 minutes to make your comment, and I will have a timer on the screen so that it's very visual for you.
Be less than 3. I'm supposed to be covering a game for injuries right now, but I'm Pete Bartell. I was last year's chair of the Golden Grad Committee. For those like Dr. Rodriguez not be aware of the Golden Grads, but we are a group of Ridgefield graduates at 50 years or more. They gather every May at the high school at the Commons for a luncheon. And then about 10 years ago, they started raising funds for scholarships. And we partnered with the Ridgefield Foundation for many years. And 2 years ago, because of a little discrepancy, we decided to go out on our own, and we donate the money to Clark College. Now, they take care of all the scholarships and applications, but this is focused on trades rather than somebody who wants to be a doctor or whatnot. So the trades, particularly with the new opening out here at the Clark College, that'll be great. Anyway, currently we have $20,000 that they're sitting on trying to give out, and we have another 12,000 we want to add to that. We just got to get more people to apply. So hopefully we can bring it to the board and communications or whatever newsletters we send out, so that this money is out there. And it's not just for Ridgefield high school students, it's for anybody who ever graduated from Ridgefield High School, including me. I won't tell you how many years ago, but Union Ridge was a brand new school when I started in first grade. So anyway, if I pass out information, they can read off of that. I won't take any more of your time, but hopefully we'll get some more people applying. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pete. Yep. So we are going to move into a closed session, and so there is no action on that.
No. Okay. So we're learning.
Yep.
That's
I
good.
haven't done this before.
Continuous learning right here in action. We're going to move into a closed session for an appeal hearing under board policy number 3231 and 3231P. And so for closed session, it is just the board, myself, Danny, and then the impacted family and administrator. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to leave the room now. So have a lovely evening.
Okay, we have come out of the closed session, and we are going to move into executive session.
Mhm.
I
Oh, I was going to just ask how long we need.
Yeah. I'm going to say 15 minutes, and then if we need to come back out, it's we're moving into executive session for complaints against an employee under RCW 4231-10-1F, as well as review performance of employees RCW 42.30.110-1G.
I move we go into executive session for 15 minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Okay.
15 minutes.
Yep.
We are still in executive session and we're going to take another 15 minutes. We will be out about 10 after 9. Okay, we are out of executive session and I am going to adjourn the meeting. Thank you.